Find the perfect ride for you today with the New Year New Ride sales event at Guam Auto Spot. Get behind the wheel of the 2024 Outlander Sport starting at just $22,995 or only $156 per paycheck. Visit GuamAutospot.com or call 671-478-AUTO.
Buy fuel, get Wendy's. Drive to your nearest 76 Circle K and get free Wendy's. Yes, free. Fuel up with $30 and score your choice of a 6-piece crispy chicken nuggets or a juicy junior cheeseburger deluxe. Fresh, hot, and packed with flavor. But hurry, quantities are limited and this delicious deal won't last long. So hit the road to 76 Circle K, fuel up, and get Wendy's free before it's gone.
You or someone you know looking for a job? Well, Sentinel Security is hiring and they're offering starting pay between $10 to $15 an hour, and they'll train you too. Email them today that you're interested at sentinelsolutionsguam@gmail.com. Sentinel Security, Guam's most reliable security solution for your home and your business. Kickstart your day with one of Wendy's Guam's breakfast faves, either the morning melt panini, the breakfast burrito, or sausage, egg, and cheese English muffin. Your mornings just got delicious. Head to Wendy's for breakfast from 6 to 10:30 in the morning on weekdays and from 6 to 11 a.m. on weekends.
Kandit News is brought to you by 76 Circle K Guam.
Good evening, my dear friends. Let me show you guys something. Hold on. This is my Palm from Palm Sunday earlier this year. If it looks a little jacked, it's because any of you have a cat? Let me show you what my cat's masterpiece today. As I was working earlier, I was hearing, what is it? Sounds like paper bags being destroyed. My poor Palm from Palm Sunday. I named him Dedito. Should have known. Good evening, my friends. It's 8:05 p.m. on Sunday, August 10, 2025. My name is Troy Torres. Thank you so much for joining me. Buenas, Sister Jen. Buenas, my brother Jude. Thank you. So this is a peach, by the way. Little tip. Get your peaches at Happy Mart. And also, when you get home, halfway freeze them. As in, put them in the freezer for an hour. Then take them out. So good. KOAM launched the media into something we should have done years ago. When KOAM came out with Joan Uggan-Charfus's investigative series on Charissa Tenorio and Comfort Cut's contract with Tiguac Cemetery, it lit a fire under the media in Guam to go looking Where else? What else? Because for years we've heard it. Many of you who've been Candid viewers for years have put it into the comments. I remember. I've seen them. You know, what about this contract at this place in the government? What about, we heard that this is going on over and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Last week, Kandit sent out a whole bunch Freedom of Information Act requests for disclosure of public documents. Any transactions several agencies have had with Charissa Tenorio, Frankie Rosalin, or a number of businesses that we've been able to confirm from the Department of Revenue and Taxation is under their names. We want to know, essentially, how many government contracts have these guys received since Josh Tenorio became the lieutenant governor? Josh Tenorio is Charissa Tenorio's brother. And how much has the public paid the Tenorio family since Joshua Tenorio became the lieutenant governor of Guam? These are very good questions to be asked. Matter of fact, they should have been asked years ago throughout the administration. When the administration came in 2019, the watchdog, meaning the media, should have been on this from the first day. Alas, here we are 6 years later. We weren't on it. Better late than never. But here's what we've been able to find so far. Tiguac Cemetery, $124,000 over a 5-year period. We were able to obtain documents showing that in a 3-month period, Comfort Cuts, which is owned by Charissa Tenorio and Frankie Rosalin, was contracted by the Guam Department of Education between October to December of 2022. This was during the pandemic, during the public health emergency. $121,638 for the lawn maintenance of 24 schools and 2 other campuses that are much smaller than schools over a 3-month period. And the largest of those campuses, there's southern campuses and central campuses. The largest of these campuses was George Washington High School. And so we were able to obtain not all of the records, but at least some of the records. We were able to obtain the purchase order, the request for quotation from GDOE, which set forth the terms of the contract, and also 7 invoices showing that at the very least Comfort Cuts billed about $97,000 for work that was supposed to be performed between October and December of 2022. According to these invoices, a lot of this work was performed after the contractual date in the month of January 2023. We do not know how much of that $97,000 was actually paid by GDOE to Comfort Cuts, but we do have that FOIA out to GDOE, so the disclosure of those documents should be able to show how much was paid just for that. Now, we don't know whether there was another contract, another purchase order for another 3 months prior to this 3-month period or after this 3-month period. But remember, the public health emergency was ended in January of 2023, which means that there were different procurement rules that existed for the entire time between March of 2020 all the way to that final month of this one purchase order that we've been able to see from GDOE related to Comfort Cuts. So how much has come out of GDOE, just GDOE, for Comfort Cuts or any of the other businesses owned by and operated by Charissa Tenorio, Frankie Rosalin, or for that matter, Matthew Tapasnia, who is the lieutenant governor's boyfriend? And why all of this is surfacing and why all of this matters. Number one, of course, because it is of absolute public interest and it is absolutely newsworthy how much money the lieutenant governor's family makes off of public contracts and public funds during the time that the lieutenant governor is in public office. That should absolutely be followed by the media all the time. But it makes the emphasis here is, well, these are the same people who are indicted in federal court. On June 25, 2011, a federal grand jury indicted Charissa Tenorio, Frankie Rosalin, Matthew Tapasnia, and 4 other people on charges that they allegedly got together. They conspired and allegedly stole $1.9 million from the poor and from the federal government in Pua. And so this makes it all the more worthwhile for the media to go out and to find these things and to bring these issues and these facts before the people to show you and That's right. Let me show you the documents. I forgot about that. It's getting ahead of myself there. So here's the request for quotation that sets forth the parameters of... Hold on, let me go. I always get lost here. Me too. There we go. Grounds maintenance service for various public schools and support facilities. It's essentially 24 schools in the the central and southern areas. It's a total of 422 acres. The bulk of those acres, the plurality of those acres are on George Washington High School. Mowing, edging, and they even got a reprieve on grass clippings. They said that GDOE said you can just leave it there if it's dry season, so that it adds to the moisture and the nutrients. You don't even have to, gather all those things together, which makes the job so much easier, right? Here's the second page of it. It's just et cetera, et cetera. Right? Here's the purchase order, which shows the amount. So it goes to Comfort Cuts. There's the purchase order number for the central schools, $70,129. They include Chief Brody Elementary, LBJ, Tamuning Elementary, PC Lujan, Price Elementary, Untalon Middle, Agana Heights Elementary, CL Taitano, Carbolito Elementary, JQ San Miguel, Ordot Chalampago, Agata Johnson Middle, and George Washington High School. And again, the largest of those campuses is George Washington. And you'll see in the invoices just how much George Washington was worth. And in the southern villages, the schools in the south included Truman Elementary, Jose Rios Middle, Southern High School, JP Torres Success Academy, MU Lujan Elementary, Marshall Sablan, Talafofo Elementary, Ocean View Middle, Inarajan Elementary, Marito Elementary, and Inarajan Elementary. And then there's a couple of GDOE offices, FNS, and I think FNS is the Food Nutrition Services area, and FNM is Facilities and Maintenance area. So, for those of you who remember going to any of those campuses between October and December of 2022, if you worked there, if you were a parent who was dropping off your kids there, if you were a student at George Washington during that time and you're an adult now and you're watching this stream right now and you remember what it was like during those days, was the grass cut? And Dexter Fulo, who is the principal of George Washington High School, and he was the principal during that time, I talked to him tonight, and I asked him, do you remember if Comfort Cuts had fulfilled its obligations according to the contract? He said he doesn't. What he remembers is that Comfort Cuts did show up, but then they just stopped coming. That's what he said. And then there were a couple of other people who I talked to, but they didn't want to be named because they're afraid of retribution from the Tenorio family. And one of them said that they knew for certain that at some of these schools, Comfort Cuts would show up. They would cut the front area, and then they would leave. The back area wouldn't be done. And then by the time the schools had pressed them and they came to do the back area, the front area had already overgrown, which is interesting because according to one of the invoices, now let me go back and show you this to you. Where is that? Here it is. According to invoice number 003, let me show it to you, sorry. I'm always struggling to find this one. There, YouTube. Let me just make this bigger. According to invoice 003-2023, dated January 4, for the second and third cuts of all but two of these 9 schools. So look what it says. For Agana Heights Elementary School, they charged the regular amount and then they added $1,000. So the regular amount to cut Agana Heights Elementary School was supposed to be 300 some. So you do 2 cuts, so it's going to be $665. They added $1,000 to that due to fuel costs and lawn overgrowth. At Carbolito Elementary, $1,000 added to the bill, applied due to fuel costs and lawn overgrowth. Jose Rios Middle, an increase of $2,000 to the bill due to fuel costs and lawn overgrowth. JQ San Miguel, an additional $2,000 due to fuel costs and lawn overgrowth. Marshall Sablon Elementary, an increase of $2,000 due to fuel costs and lawn overgrowth. Price Elementary, an additional $2,000 added onto the bill, applied due to fuel costs and lawn overgrowth. And then the only one where there's a number that's not a round number, or that's not a flat number, is PC Lujan Elementary, $1,138. I mean, anyway, so that's one of the 7 invoices. Let me show you the other invoices. Here's invoice number 001-2022. You'll notice there's a large amount, $11,370, charged for the first cut of George Washington High School. There are 2 other cuts for GW. So according to these 7 invoices, Comfort Cuts didn't do 4 cuts at GW. They did 3 according to these invoices, not according to... I'm not saying that the cuts were actually done. I'm just saying that this is what Comfort Cuts alleges or says that they did. And then here is invoice number 2. You'll see another charge of $11,370 for George Washington High School. And they say that the second cut was done in a 2-day period from November 15 to November 16. There had to have been a whole lot of people sent over to GW in order for the lawn, for all of that foliage to have been cut over a 2-day period at a campus that big. And then this is number 3. That's the one I just showed you, the one with the overgrowth. Here is invoice number 5. And the interesting thing about invoice number 5 is it shows that the cut dates were outside of the contract period. You see the service date for Agania Heights Elementary is January 23, for Jose Rios, January 21. For MU Lujan Elementary, January 13. For Maritzo Elementary, January 18. For Agana Johnson, January 25. Let me see. Here is invoice number 4. Another $11,370 charged to GDOE for the cut of George Washington High School. Invoice number 6, you'll see 2 cut dates. Price Elementary, January 30. That's 30 days after the contract period. Talahufo Elementary on January 26, and that was for the second cut only. And that is 26 days after the contract period. Invoice number... that's weird. There's 2 invoice number... Wait, I'm sorry. Invoice number 7. Look at this. Second and third cuts all in January for all of these different places. I mean, it's just... Anyway, so... My dear friends, I'm telling you, I believe that we are just scratching the surface. I have other invoices from other agencies. I'm going to take this one by one. And I'm going to, for some of this stuff, I'm going to wait for more documents to come in response to our FOIA, so we have a more complete picture of what's going on here. But I think what is going to be shown once all is said and done, we already are beyond $100,000. We're already beyond $200,000. And we're only talking about one contract, which was just for 3 months at the Guam Department of Education. That's just one of the contracts at GDOE. I don't know if there's more. And for just one contract at the Department of Parks and Recreation, another $124,000. So what is that? Nearly $250,000 in public funds contracted to the Tenorio family during the time that Josh Tenorio was the Lieutenant Governor of Guam. How much more has been awarded to the benefit of the Tenorio family during the time that Josh Tenorio has been the Lieutenant Governor of Guam? We're going to have more as all of this unfolds. And tonight, it's already 8:20, but I did promise that I'll do this story tonight. I'm going to go live again, and I'm going to bring you more interesting news, this time in the Tenorio corruption case, dealing with the address of the two businesses at the center of the alleged conspiracy of the PUA fraud and how that address relates directly to Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio, who claimed that he had no knowledge of the alleged crimes. For Kandit News, I'm Troy Torres. I'll see you guys again live in about an hour, I think.
We got that dynamite. We got that dynamite.
Find the perfect ride for you today with the New Year New Ride sales event at Guam Auto Spot. Get behind the wheel of the 2024 Outlander Sport, starting at just $22,995 or only $156 per paycheck. Visit GuamAutospot.com or call 671-478-AUTO.
Buy fuel, get Wendy's. Drive to your nearest 76 Circle K and get free Wendy's. Yes, free. Fuel up with $30 and score your choice of a 6-piece crispy chicken nuggets or a juicy junior cheeseburger deluxe. Fresh, hot, and packed with flavor. But hurry, quantities are limited and this delicious deal won't last long. So hit the road to 76 Circle K, fuel up, and get Wendy's free before it's gone.